All right, let's talk cameras. So to start it off, you probably wouldn't know the difference between this camera and the camera I'm using right now, unless you're a photographer. There's subtle things you'll see between them and things that make this one definitely better, but for the average consumer, you're never gonna know the difference. And so what I wanna do is kind of just show off what this thing can do. And doing that, I wanna use 3 different lenses. We got the 16-35 f2.8, the 50mm 2.8 macro lens. This is special because it can get really close to subjects, like for those cool ring shots or something like that. And then this is the 85. For me, this is basically the perfect portrait lens. You're gonna use it to take pictures of your friends or couples, stuff like that. Definitely not recommended for group shots, but this is perfect for when you have a one-on-one session. And so what I'm gonna do is show you a couple examples from these different lenses using this camera. And then I'm gonna show you something similar from my camera to see if you can tell the difference. And this is what a 16mm looks like on a full frame. Look how wide it is. I can literally almost touch both sides of my walls and still be in frame. Now compare that to a 16 on a crop sensor. My arms almost touch the edges, just a little bit. And so the difference between this and that is crazy. But having a crop sensor, what that actually means, it's actually cropping in the image just a little bit. And so on my 16, it's actually more like a 24 or 25. So here's what that looks like on a full frame. So as you can see, my arms almost hit the edges, just like on my crop sensor, and you have less wiggle room to work with. The image is still pretty clear, which is awesome. And the way these are set up, it's kind of hard to tell the difference between the two because they're so similar. But what's nice about this lens, it goes from 16 all the way to 35. And this is what's so nice about this lens. But you can go all the way from 16 to 35, which is awesome. When you compare that to the 16, which is always this wide, it's nice to have and it really helps when you need to capture a lot of the frame, but being able to zoom into that 35mm just makes the image that much better. And this is what a 50mm looks like on a full frame. When you compare that to a 50mm on a crop sensor, it's crazy. I mean, look how tight this is. You have the top of my forehead to my chest. Wild, compare that to the full frame, you have basically a medium shot, not even close up. It's great for getting a ton of information from the waist up, getting the full body, but when you go over to the crop sensor, it's basically a close-up lens. You don't have much to work with besides the fact that you have all the details of my face, you see my expression, and it's really close. What's different between my lens and this one is this one's actually a macro lens. So I can go ahead and take something and put it really close to the frame and it will focus on it. Mine really can't do that, which is kind of weird, but that's just a difference between my 50mm and this 50mm. And let's move into our last lens, the 85. And here's what an 85 looks like on a full frame. It is definitely a tight lens. You use this for close-ups, for portraits. What's really nice, if you back up a lot, it's really pretty getting full body shots with this lens because the entire background's blurred out and it's really cool. Now you compare that to an 85 on my crop sensor, it's so much more zoomed in, it's wild. Literally, I can't even see my body at all. It's just my head, and I am just looking, like, you can just see my face. It's pretty crazy the difference between a crop sensor and a full frame. And I really like this full frame. That lens is just pretty. And that concludes this section of Austin Talks Tech, where I basically mansplain how to use a camera. Okay, and now I gotta go to volleyball, so let's go do that. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get a dub real quick, and then playoffs are next week, so we'll keep you up on that.
#1 seed.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will see you tomorrow.